Hi YouTubers, Roxanne here from Rox's Cards and Crafts. Now, I am in Design Space. This is what you're looking at, and I showed you a picture of the embossed happy birthday card that I put at the beginning, and I'm going to show you several ways to do this. Now, you don't need a Cricut machine or a Silhouette or let's just say electronic plotter. So there are electronic plotters, there are electronic die cutting machines. You can use, well, I do use the Big Shot with this anyway, so yes, I've got the Big Shot, but you will have to work out your sandwich for things if you don't have the Big Shot. I've had my Big Shot for years. Now what you're also going to need, and I find this is very important, is the Sizzix Emboss and Transfer set. It's made up of a silicone rubber and an impressions pad. I'll show you how to use these. I highly recommend that you get a set of those pretty much straight away. I started fiddling around with different sandwiches and cutting up silicone mats, and they weren't thick enough, and look, that's beside the point. I just bit the bullet, saw I saw a YouTube, but she talks about knock, and what I did was I just, as I said, I just bit the bullet. I just went to Amazon and just went and bought that impressions pad and silicone pad, and I've never looked back, and that just made me more adventurous to what I could do with my Big Shot. So as explained in the past, if you haven't seen any of my videos, I'm in Australia. I use 4x6 cards. I use 12x12 cardstock. So from that 12x12 cardstock, I can cut out 3 bases. So I cut out 2 landscapes and 1, what would you call it, portrait. I always do toppers. I don't do my design straight on my card base. I do toppers, and my toppers are always 1/4 inch in. So that is what I'm working with today. So you'll see that that's 5.75 by 3.75. I'm going to try and keep this fast. Go and look at some of my other YouTube tutorials where I make cards, and I'll explain that. This one's a bit smaller. That's what I started out with. So I'm not going to worry about this one. This is the design I made, but I realised there I should have put a little heart down here. So I'm not even going to tell you what font this is. Just go and pick a nice thick font, nice round edges. I think they look the best. This one just looked fantastic. So I'm just going to go to edit, which I'm already in. Okay, so we've already, I'm just going to undo Unite. I just want this one, go to contour, and I'm going to knock out that circle. Then I'm going to shapes. I need a heart. It should have been the same as this one. And I'm going to keep that the same way. I should have just doubled that. I don't even really like the way that one came out, to tell the truth. Let's give me another one. I just noticed, oh, hang on, detach. There we go. I'm just going to delete that, and then those two will be the same. This is probably not necessary. So what I'm going to is, it gives it a funny look. And I can't turn it upside down. So maybe the circle is, no, look, let's just put a heart. Let's leave it. I'm going to unite that. All right. Now, I've made this so that it fits nicely in the center of that 5.75 by 3.75 card. Align that to the center. Now I'm going to cut that out of the card. If you want to, and I suggest you do this, make a copy of that one. Write down the fonts for things and then save them as per the font. So this is birthday, and then I would go font, whatever it is. And then I'm going to hide that one, and I've got a copy of that. Really want to. I'm going to use this one next, and I'll show you why. So of course there's nothing I can do with this until it's finished, so I'll just go up to these 3 dots here and go new window. Need to ungroup so that I can size it pretty good. I need to go to edit, and I'm going to ungroup the letters. I need this to sort of show me how I want to position them. So I'm going to get rid of this guy. Well, actually, let's just make him shorter. So you can go to shapes and just pick a shape. Be different. Let's pick a diamond. And that's actually good because it looks like a candle. Oh look, I just invented something else. Alright, so the now the T is up there a bit. Uncheck that so I can stretch it manually maybe. This shift key and that to be attached. Well, that'll do for now. Then I need that and this to be the same height, so align to top. And this guy, you can do the same as what you did with this. So I'm going to detach that to separate it. Give that another one, just there. Go to contour, get rid of the square. Do that again because I didn't do apply, and then put that in. Maybe that's too much, maybe we could put a heart in there instead. Yeah, it just looks too much. Nice. I know I did align that before. So I'm just going to move that out of the way. And I want those to be not attached. Combine, unite. Alright? So now I can move them around and it's going to look something like that. We've got our paper resized. Now these are about, 4.5. So I want that to be about 3. All right, what have we got? That's fine. You can now position that on your topper however you like. I don't think it needs to, you know, take up the full length of the card. It can just sit there in the center. And if you wanted, you could add something cute. We're going to put the happy there when I cut it out in my die. Alright, so I'm happy with that. I'm just going to align to the center. Now I want to make a copy of this one, and it was, you notice that I did not write down the the stencil name. Duplicate. Wow. So that's the original, so I'm going to get rid of that. Now, this one, unlike this one, because it's cut out in a stencil, and I want to cut it the same size as I would use my topper. And the reason being is that when you put it through your embossing machine, you don't want to be seeing any of those extra lines. So it's going to be the identical size as the cards that you make. So this one that I made was just too small and I didn't want to go that, so I'm going to get rid of this. These two will need to be combined and exclude. I've already made these. So this one, I'll go offline and see if I can find that for you, what it is. I'm just trying to find what this one was, and in searching I'm just finding some cute ones. So here's one for you, bouncy. Bouncy. Where are you? This is why when you find one, try and write it down straight away. There's some nice fonts in Design Space, so just go and pick one. I can't find that one. But good idea is to, if you want to save it before you do anything to it. Let's make this technique number 1. And these are going to be individual letters. And this is what I did for that card. And the reason why they need to be individual letters, and I'll show you, in other words, I'm not using the stencil cutaway. Reason being that the letters are not a stencil. To be a stencil, it needs the innard section, see the B? It comes all the way out and it doesn't leave the, now there is a technical word for the inner parts of a letter when you cut it out. I think it's accounts. I'll have to look that up again. This gives you a bit more freestyle. It's quite good. So I cut it out 3 only because I'm going to layer these 3 times and I'm going to leave them in the pattern that they cut out. So I'll go off camera and I'm going to, all you do obviously is just layer them. Glue, layer, all right? Make sure they're as spot on and centered as well as you can. I have a magnifying glass on my lamp and it's really are useful. So I'll come back when I have done that. Alright, so I went behind the scenes and I cut out the birthday. This is in the freestanding letters. So those letters will, those white letters that you see there, will be cut out of the red cardstock. Does not matter what size that weeding box is. So that's merely just a weeding box for now. So I cut those out and I've glued them together. That's what I'll be showing you in a minute now. Go ahead and I'm going to delete those and make sure that I've saved the original one. So free alphas. I'm just going to go free alphas, freestanding alphas. Oh, that'll do for now, and hide that. Now I've decided to use BFC homemade stencil. I've gone and changed the eye to put that little birthday flame on, and I'm happy with that layout. So let's highlight all of that. Oh, I've also made a copy of that. All right, so I've gone ahead and done that. Combine and exclude. So we are actually going to use this one. Let me hide that. So this one is a stencil, and if you... So I've cut out the stencil and I've cut out the free form. Now we don't need this. This stencil is no good because the counters or the innards of the letters have fallen out. But what I want to do next is, we don't need to, we'll just put this one aside. I'm going to get my Style Tech. This is C5 Style Tech. You can get this off Amazon. So it's got light grey grid on it, and it's really good. It's mid-strength, so mid-tacky. I'm just going to turn it upside down and measure as closely as I can to the words. I was having a bit of a play. I came up with an idea as I was filming. This press and seal will work just as well as the Style Tech. So if you don't have a good transfer tape that doesn't chew your cardstock or ruin your cardstock, this works just as well. See, it sticks on there nicely. So it's got to go behind it. I don't think I put these in reverse. Anyway, I put it in reverse as per the instructions. I picked this off the mat, so I didn't do it in reverse. And it will stick fine. And then just cut that around your card and it will stick. It will stick, probably even works better than the transfer tape. So you have that option as well. So I've got that ready. Just put that sticky side up. Now what I'm going to do next is I'm going to turn this over this way. And bear with me. those lovely in place. So what you do is you get the StyleTech transfer tape covering all the letters so it picks it up. Just give it a nice rub so they grip on. So I'm just going to turn the mat over to get that off. And get this, oh, I'll keep it here for now. Okay, and then I want to take off this stencil. So the StyleTech grips quite nicely to it and holds those letters in place. So this is the freestanding one that I'm doing this to. Wouldn't need to do it to the stencil. So I get my cardstock. Now with this to go through the Big Shot. So let me get my sandwich plates. Right, so you've got your base tab or your multi-purpose platform. I'm going to take that to tab 1, putting down a clear plate. So remember I told you about the impressions pad. These are just so worthwhile. Otherwise, you will have to fuss around with what will work. But the thing you've got to remember is that you need a silicone pad to push the cardstock down onto the. So I'm just going to give you the sandwich. Right. So your multi-purpose platform, a clear plate. Let me have a look. So we've got my cardstock. I have to select the correct side. Turn your cardstock to the wrong side. We're going to put it on our mat so we know what we're doing. Then we're going to position I'm just going to turn on this light. Better. I just want to position this as straight as I can. So this does have a line. Hopefully that I've put it on all straight. Now this has come off. I want to make sure that these stay on. Okay. It's got to be facing up, so I'm going to put cardstock facing down, and you're going to position, you're going to have to eyeball that, or you can do it like this. This is what it's all about. Make sure that's pretty good. Okay, and we're going to just press that down. And being the back side, if it should lift up, it shouldn't be a problem. I'm going to turn this over. And we're going to make sure it's underneath. So tab 1, clear plate, all that in place. Just tell me that didn't go out of line, out of whack. Did a bit. That StyleTech is mainly to keep the words in place, not so much when it's on the page. So if you want a bit of extra security, just get some tape and stick it on. I'm going to have to stick that on. It doesn't stick that well to the cardstock. I think it's sticking well to this because it's cereal box, which has got a nice coating to it. But it's not liking the cardstock, which is a good thing when you pull it off. So turn those around and put them on tab 1. Then we'll get the silicone, the grey Sizzix silicone pad, and then the impressions pad. So that's the sandwich for that one. Let's run that through the Big Shot. Now I like to run it through twice. Now that silicone pad pushes out and that's normal. And run it back again. And let's see how we did. Let's move that out of the way. Hopefully I only get one take at doing this. Impressions pad, there we go. So you got the right side, worked perfectly. The right side of the card up. We can take this off. The StyleTech should not have try not to bend too much. Probably best if we let's put this on here and try and lift this up without it coming off. So I did no damage to my cardstock with the StyleTech, and I can keep those on and do a few more cards. So that's the free standing alphabet. All right, so quickly with the stencil, this is going to be the opposite because we use the freestanding image. So if you've got a die that you've cut and you've laid, it's going to be a freestanding image. The stencil, however, is the same, that's all the same, so it's all flat, and you've got to push, it's like pushing it into the cardstock, all right? So what we do with the stencil is, so we need tab 1. Your clear plate. Let me get that up so you can see it. Right, so the clear plate. Tab 1, clear plate. Then we've got to place the cardstock. So it's your right side. So we're placing the right side. Place stencil right side down. So what it's saying is, your stencil's going to be right side down and your paper's going to be right side down. So let's stick those down with some magic. I don't want that. Because we want that to be straight. All right. And then we're facing that down. Place cardstock on top of stencil with right side down. That's what it says. And then these are my instructions. Then the silicone mat and then the impressions pad. So I'm going to go off and run that through without putting it in front of the camera. Now I did run that through twice again, so let's see the magic reveal. I hope I got this right. I'm sort of like new myself at this. Impressions pad, silicone. Now see, this is the wrong side, which is perfect. Let's put, so it's, what it did essentially is it pushed the cardstock down into the stencil, into the hole of the stencil, whereas the other one was raised up. So, like I said, you can have a bit of a practice, but I've tried every which way. I think I've tried that going up that way and da-da-da, and sometimes it just doesn't leave an impression at all. And that's the stencil one. I kind of like the other one better, the freestanding one. It gives it a more of a clean, I don't know what's going on. It's a bit rough looking. Whereas that one was really crisp and clean. So you be the judge. It could have been because of the carb. Maybe use, oh, I know what it was. I did have problem with my glue. I don't know if you can see the lumps in there. So, okay. I had problems with my glue. The fine point on this glue that I always use got clogged up and it dried. So then I went and got this one. By the time I had put a second coating of glue, it was a lot thicker and the other stuff had dried. So maybe use double-sided tape or something if you want for your stencil. Looks all right that side, but it was the orange that it did it through. So anyway, they are the cards. That looks pretty. I like that. I'm just going to probably have to do another stencil because of the glue mishap. Done. So let's put this card together. So I'm using Crafter's Choice. It's got 15 sheets of mirror card, matte mirror card, and glitter. Now I just ran out of this beautiful, oh, I had some really lovely gold mirror card and I'm out of it. So it doesn't quite match this that I'm going to use on here, but I'd already had this one made and I cut this happy from a die, not from my Cricut, but from a die, and I laid it with just the blue, so the same colour cardstock is underneath, so not white, just use the same colour. So I've got 3 times, 2 in the blue and 1 in the top gold. And that way it doesn't give you a white look on the side or whatever colour, and it just looks like you're looking at the blue card itself. So, Crafter's Choice, I've taken you through that. It's got glitter and everything in it as well. So getting my Scotch tape runner. We do call them something else. And I heard or saw the other day that you can't get these anymore, these tape runners. I've had this one for years, so I'm glad. I don't know what it's doing. But yeah, apparently you can't get them anymore. Alright, so I'm just going to try this little trick. This is a trick that I see Christine Stacey use. If you want to learn how to do some beautiful Kaz cards, go over and check Christine Stokes on her YouTube. You will learn heaps. She just does die cutting, whereas I do Cricut. But we still both do card making. Okay. And I'm going to use my precision glue gun. What was the name? My Sweet Petunia. Doesn't have it written on there. So the trick is not to let the glue dry. So you can still do it like this, you know, and you won't see the glue, but just don't let it dry. And this has got the tiniest bit of gold banding around the edge of the card. And the reason why I do the glue is because I can maneuver that in place perfectly. Before the glue dries. I don't normally have this much trouble. It's because I'm filming. All right. I'm not pressing on the gun, it's sort of just flowing out. And I normally use my fine tip for this. If you find that you're a bit heavy-handed, I'll show you what to do in a minute. That's going to be fine, and you can let this dry a little bit before you squish it down. The other thing you can do if you think you're a bit heavy-handed, just gently wipe a bit off on a bit of cardstock or whatnot. And I'm just going to put that sort of like, can you see that there's like a D and the holes of the B. It's a pretty good little place for that. Press that down and your card is finished. So that was the smaller one I did. Just a little bit different in size, but I preferred, looks great actually, smaller, looks better. But I prefer cutting it so that all my envelopes and everything fit it. But I do like it in the small. In real life it looks way better. So this was about, let me have a look. So I know that's a 4x6. This one was, oh God, it was supposed to be 5, so 5 across by 3 3/4. I did cut it down a bit because I think I've fuffled around too much. So it was supposed to be 5 by 4. Okay, this one's 4 by 6. So still the same height, just different in width. But I do like the small one better. Well, I hope that helps someone. Now, don't forget, or did I already say this? Don't know. Don't forget to use your dies. You don't need a Cricut machine to do what I just achieved. I only used the Cricut machine to cut my alphabet and my stencil out. You can do that with your manual die cutter, like your Big Shot. All right, guys, stay tuned and I will find the time to do style number 2. Or number, is it number 3? Anyway, I've got 2 styles on this. Let's call it 1 and 2 in today's. And then I'll come and do style 3. Bye for now.